If you have a kiddo that has a hard time saying words with the P sound in them, then I know you're going to find some helpful information in this video that is going to get your child one step closer to achieving better communication and building their confidence. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 2 helpful tools that I frequently use in speech therapy with kids, as well as sharing with you 2 really important things that parents need to know whenever trying to work on words with the P sound in them, and any sound. Now let's start by talking about 2 really helpful tools that will help your child practice words with the P sound. Number 1 is flashcards. Now it doesn't specifically have to be flashcards, but we want to make sure that we have pictures of the words that we are practicing with our child starting off. But in the beginning, it's really helpful to have a picture of the words, and this is why. So I will take a picture of the word we're working on or a flashcard, and I like to put it up next to my mouth. And the reason I do this is because our kids are learning this new skill and they have to concentrate so hard on getting the P correctly in the word that we want to make it easier for them to remember what word they're working on so that there's less for them to try and remember. So as they're focusing really hard on making the P correctly, they have this visual that they can easily look back at to reference and remember, oh, that's right, I'm working on the word path. And so less for them to try and remember. And the reason that I hold it up next to my mouth is because in the beginning, we'll be saying the word with them and modeling it for them so they're able to see how it's said correctly and easily look back and forth, see this is the word we're working on and this is how we say it correctly. A second helpful tool is using a mirror. And if you've seen my other videos, you notice that I frequently recommend this just because when our kids are concentrating really hard on getting that sound correctly, it can be helpful if they start to kind of lose correct production. They can look into the mirror and just see if they're making the right movement with their mouth and their tongue and their lips. So in the case of a P, they can look in the mirror and see, are they getting their lips together to form that P sound? Now let's talk about the 3 really helpful things for parents to know that'll help our kids learn these words with the P sound in them. And I'm going to demonstrate for you how I use these tips. So number 1, it's very important that we follow the right sequence. So if you haven't seen my first 2 videos that demonstrate how to help a child learn the P sound, it's really important that you start with steps 1 and 2. So step number 1, which is P in isolation or the P all on its own, and then moving on to the second step, learning P in syllables or just adding a vowel to the P. And we follow this sequence because it just creates a very easy transition and baby steps in helping our child learn the P sound and eventually get to the highest level of communication of being able to just have a conversation with you and be able to use the P sound without having to concentrate and worry at all. So if your child is making the P on its own and able to add vowels and do it at the syllable level, then you are right where you need to be of working on P at the word level. Now, a second really helpful thing to know is the different placements of P in words. So P is going to show up in 3 different placements of words. It's going to show up in the initial position, or words that start with P, the medial position, or P in the middle of words, as well as P in the final position, or P at the end of words. Now, knowing the placement of P in words is going to be really helpful in helping you choose which words to practice on first and in what order. And if you want a clear guide as far as which ones to start with and what words to use, then check out my website where I have a list and a set of flashcards for you with the P sound in all the different positions, and I start with the easiest words and have them gradually get more difficult so you don't have to worry about if you're starting with too difficult of words. And you can find those in the description below under flashcards. Now I'm going to demonstrate for you how I work on P at the word level with kids and how you can do it at home. I'm going to take a flashcard, and like I mentioned before, I'm going to hold it up to my mouth and I'm going to have them say the word with me and remind them what sound we're working on. We're going to practice making a strong P sound. So all of these words are going to have P at the beginning of them. So let's start with this one, path. And we're going to say it 5 times. Here we go. Path, path, path. So I'm going to have the child repeat the word at least 3 to 5 times. And make sure you're only having them repeat it if they're saying it correctly, because we don't want them to practice it incorrectly. But once they are able to say it correctly, make sure you have them repeat it multiple times so that we can really start to build that muscle memory. And the more that they say it and the more repetitions that they get, then the easier and automatic it's going to be for your child. A lot of times when we're working on words with the P sound for the very first time, I will usually start with words in the initial position that start with P. And then once the child has a pretty good grasp on those and is starting to do those a little bit easier, then I will move on to words with the P in the final position or at the end of words. Now we're going to be doing words that end with the P sound. So this word, soap, see how it has a P at the end of it? Let's say it 5 times. And then same thing, I'll go through, and as soon as they're able to say it correctly, even just one time, I will have them repeat it at least 3 to 5 times to start building that muscle memory. So the order that I usually follow when working on the different placements of P, I start with words that begin with the letter P in the initial position. Then I move on to words that have P at the end in the final position. And then finally, I work on words with P in the medial position. But if your child happens to have an easier time saying words that end with P, then go with those. I really like to encourage parents to go with what is easiest for their child and to build off of that. So if your child has a much easier time saying words with P at the end, like top, soup, soap, then start with those and really get a good handle on those words, and then try words that start with the P sound. Now, at any time, if your child is trying to say the words and they start to lose that good, strong P, then you can try and just go back a step. And what you're going to do is work on the P at the syllable level. So what it could look like if you're working on a word like this, so for path, they're just having a hard time, then you might say, okay, now we're just going to try a silly word. We're going to try and just say pa, pa. And if they can do that, then have them say that several times over and over. And then see if you can slowly add in the end of the word path. So it goes from pa, pa to path, path. So you can break it up, path, or you can have them try and hold it out and slowly bring in the TH sound, path. So whenever your child is having a hard time, just go back a step as needed and then try and just build again on those little baby steps and move forward. And just a reminder, as you're practicing all these different words with your kiddo, that this is building muscle memory. So even if they're getting it right a couple times, keep doing this for several days and even a couple weeks, just so that they get more comfortable and are able to do it on their own without having to concentrate really hard, so that they go from the very beginning where you're guiding them through and you're saying it and they're hearing it over and over, to eventually all you have to do is say, hey, what's this? And they can say it all on their own without any coaching. Thanks for watching. And with that, we are one step closer to unlocking your child's voice one sound at a time. Now, I hope you will try that out this weekend and let me know in the comments down below how it goes and if you have any questions. I hope that you will share your goodness with someone today, and I will see you in the next one.